The rain pounded against the windows of the small-town gymnasium, where a single flickering light illuminated the worn-out basketball court. Ravi leaned against the wall, his arms crossed, watching the new coach. Coach Arya, a retired athlete, with a mysterious past, walked into the gym with an air of quiet confidence. She wore a simple black tracksuit, her piercing gaze scanning the group of young athletes gathered before her. Ravi and his teammates had heard whispers about her, rumors of a championship she'd won and a fall from grace that no one dared to explain. "Listen up," she said, her voice firm but not loud. "I'm not here to make you good. I'm here to show you what it takes to be great. If you're not ready for that, the door is right there." Ravi raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. He was the star of the team, known for his sharp shooting and quick reflexes. He believed he already had what it took to be a champion. Yet something about Arya's tone struck a chord deep within him. "Champions don't just play," she continued, pacing slowly. "They prepare, they think, they adapt. Most of all, they overcome. Today, we're starting with the first lesson: humility." The players exchanged puzzled glances. Humility? What did that have to do with winning? Arya pointed to a dusty crate in the corner of the gym. "In that box are weighted ankle bands. Put them on. From now on, you'll practice with those. And Ravi," she added, locking eyes with him, "I hear you're the fastest here. Let's see how fast you are when you're carrying extra weight." Ravi's ego flared, but he said nothing. He strapped on the weights, feeling their pull immediately. The team ran drills, shot baskets, and performed defensive maneuvers, all while Arya observed in silence. The weights slowed Ravi down, making him stumble. His usual confidence wavered as his teammates outpaced him for the first time. "You think champions rely on raw talent alone," Arya called out as Ravi struggled to keep up. "Talent gets you noticed. Hard work keeps you relevant. But humility, knowing you can always improve, that's what makes you unstoppable." The practice ended with groans of exhaustion. Ravi sat on the bench, drenched in sweat, his pride bruised. For the first time in years, he questioned himself. Was Arya right? Was his arrogance holding him back? As the team filed out, Arya approached Ravi. She handed him a small dog-eared notebook. "Write down every mistake you made today," she said. "And tomorrow, we'll fix them. Champions don't avoid failure, Ravi. They learn from it." Ravi stared at the notebook, a mix of frustration and curiosity bubbling within him. What was she trying to prove? And why, despite his resistance, did he feel an undeniable urge to see where this journey might take him? The notebook sat on Ravi's desk, untouched, its pages blank. The events of the previous day gnawed at him. Coach Arya's words, the unfamiliar weight of failure, and the crushing realization that his talent alone might not be enough. As dawn broke, Ravi made a decision. He grabbed the notebook, scribbled down every mistake he could recall from practice, and headed to the gym an hour early. The court was empty, save for the faint echoes of the storm from the night before. He strapped on the weighted bands, his muscles already dreading the burn, and started his drills. When Arya walked in, she stopped mid-stride. Her expression, unreadable as always, softened just a fraction. "Early today, aren't we?" Ravi nodded, catching his breath. "You said champions learn from failure, so I'm here to learn." A faint smile tugged at Arya's lips. "Good. Let's start with your foundation." Over the next few days, Arya drilled the team relentlessly, focusing on fundamentals they thought they had mastered. Footwork, balance, endurance. It was monotonous and grueling, but Arya pushed them past their limits. Every misstep was met with a correction, every small improvement with a quiet nod of approval. Ravi's frustration boiled over one evening when he collapsed on the court after a particularly harsh set of drills. "Why does it feel like I'm getting worse?" he snapped. Arya knelt beside him. "Because you're unlearning bad habits. That's what growth feels like. Messy, uncomfortable, and slow. But trust me, it's worth it. One night, Arya gathered the team in the locker room. She placed a battered trophy on the bench. "This," she said, her voice tinged with both pride and pain, "was my first championship win. But it's not the one I'm proud of. You see, I didn't really earn it. My team carried me because I was too arrogant to work on my flaws. I lost the next 3 seasons because I thought talent would always be enough. I only became a champion when I learned to work harder than everyone else in the room. And I had to fail, miserably, to learn that." Her words hit Ravi like a punch to the gut. He had always feared failure, avoided it at all costs, but Arya seemed to see it as a teacher. That night, he couldn't sleep. The image of Arya's trophy haunted him, not as a symbol of success, but as a reminder of what it cost to truly win. The next morning, Ravi approached Arya after practice. "What's the next step?" he asked, determination in his eyes. She handed him a ball and pointed to the hoop. "Blindfold yourself and shoot until you can feel the perfect arc without looking." Ravi blinked. "How is that going to help?" Arya smirked. "Champions don't just practice hard, they practice smart. Trust me, you'll understand soon enough." As Ravi tied the blindfold around his eyes, a new thought settled in his mind. Perhaps this wasn't just about winning games. Perhaps Arya was teaching them how to win at life. The gym was silent except for the rhythmic thud of the basketball hitting the floor and the occasional swoosh of the net. Ravi stood at the free throw line, blindfolded, the weight of the ball heavy in his hands. He took a deep breath, bent his knees, and released the shot. It clanged off the rim. Again, Arya's voice echoed. For hours, Ravi shot in darkness. His arms ached, his legs trembled, and sweat poured down his face. He wanted to quit, but something deeper kept him going. Shot after shot, he adjusted. His stance, the angle of his wrists, the power in his release. Gradually, the misses became fewer, the swishes more frequent. "Enough for today," Arya finally said. "You're learning to trust your instincts. That's what champions do. They master the intangibles." Ravi pulled off the blindfold, his vision blurry but his mind sharper than ever. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was about resilience, patience, and the ability to adapt under pressure. As the season progressed, Arya's methods began to show results. The team moved as one, their synergy on the court undeniable. Ravi, once the flashy solo star, had transformed into a leader who empowered his teammates. The weights on their ankles were gone, but the lessons they carried remained. The day of the championship game arrived, and the gym buzzed with anticipation. Their opponents were undefeated, a team of towering athletes with a reputation for crushing their competition. Ravi's team was the underdog, and the whispers in the crowd reflected that. Arya gathered them in the locker room. Her gaze swept across each player. "You've trained for this moment. You've faced failure, pushed through pain, and embraced humility. Remember, champions don't just play to win. They play to become better than they were yesterday." The game was brutal. The opposing team dominated early, their size and speed overwhelming. By halftime, Ravi's team trailed by 15 points. The atmosphere in the locker room was tense, but Arya's calm voice broke through. "This is your moment," she said. "Not because you're losing, but because champions thrive under pressure. Adjust, adapt, and most importantly, believe in yourselves." The second half was electric. Ravi orchestrated plays with precision, setting up his teammates for open shots. They fought for every rebound, defended with relentless energy, and slowly chipped away at the lead. With 30 seconds left, the score was tied. Ravi had the ball. The crowd roared as he dribbled past defenders, time ticking away. With 3 seconds left, he launched a perfect shot from beyond the arc. The buzzer sounded as the ball swished through the net. The crowd erupted. Ravi's team had won. As the players celebrated, Arya watched from the sidelines, a rare smile on her face. Ravi approached her, the championship trophy in hand. "This isn't just about the win," he said. "It's about what it took to get here." Arya nodded. "That's what champions do differently. They don't just play the game, they transform through it."